Hello, we're continuing video. Today we're going to take a look at 10 secret buffs for Season 20 for the Open Great League. We're going to take a look at 10 Pokemon that did not receive a buff directly, but still got way better for the upcoming season. So if you enjoy this type of videos, and if you enjoyed also the recent series about the new season, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Would really appreciate it. It is free and it helps out the channel quite a bit. And so we're going to start off with the first Pokemon. First Pokemon going to be Toxapex. Didn't get a single buff or anything like this, but we're gonna see a quite decent rating increase to rank 15 here. Kinda wanted to have at least some more significant rating increase. There were like some other Pokemon that I thought of putting in here as well, by the way, today, which are definitely worth building, like a Mandibuzz, like something like the Feraligatr. Those Pokemon all totally fine to build, but they did only increase by like up to 5 rating or something like this. I kind of want to have a little more significance for those increases, and here we're going to have one of the biggest winners for the season. Average rating of 570 somehow. The Toxapex is going to be one of the biggest, bulkiest Pokemon that you can run, and as you can see here as well, again, for the Pokemon that you want to build, we have the IVs here. Those are going to be the IVs that you want to have. On the right side, by the way, is always the level that you have. In the middle, you're going to see here, of course, the IVs as well as the CP the Pokemon wants to have, and of course, yeah, on the right side, you're going to have the level, and on the left side, the ranking. So let's move on to the next one. Aurorus, going to be a rank 56 last season. No one ever played this Pokemon in the Open Great League. I honestly didn't even know it was in the top 100. But this might change for the upcoming season, because somehow this Pokemon landed up all to rank 19. I guess somehow it's not really correct with that one, because of course counter nerf for a Pokemon that's double weak to counter, definitely going to help quite a bit. But also going to be some nerfs towards this Pokemon this season, with all the wing attack Pokemon kind of floating away. But also Steel Wing nerf definitely helps this Pokemon out quite a bit. So 2 of the double weaknesses it has definitely kind of got a little bit less common, and that's going to help this one out for sure. 24 wins, 9 losses. I'm honestly curious if this is going to be actually correct for like those Pokemon later on, because there are a lot of Pokemon with an average rating close to 600, which seems kind of ridiculous. So I wonder how the meta game actually going to play out. Moving on to the next one, we're going to have Regirock. Regirock is going to be one of those Regi boys that definitely kind of lagged behind the Registeel, but actually in nowadays meta, this might change a little bit. This Pokemon goes up to now rank 26, just being a little bit behind Registeel, and I feel like maybe it's going to have a little bit more play now as well. Of course, with counter being nerfed, this Pokemon has a little bit more play, especially offensively, because Stone Edge now has less resistances, going to help you out quite a bit more with that one. Of course, still, this Pokemon is going to get completely walled, just like Registeel, from the Clodsire, which is going to be the most common Pokemon in this season, or like of the season here, of course. And so this might still be a little bit tricky to play, but getting a very decent average increase here is kind of cool for it, even though the moveset did not change or did not get touched at all. Moving on to the next one, we're going to have my favorite Pokemon, Greninja. At rank 81 last season, I have definitely never showcased this Pokemon on my channel at all yet, but this might change in the new season, because this one actually climbs up to rank 35 here, like having the rank that it had there before, which is kind of cool without having any kind of change to the moveset. Of course, water-type Pokemon, like the Mud Boys generally speaking, but also like Poliwrath. Poliwrath, by the way, biggest answer to this Pokemon now with counter being nerfed and Mudshot being nerfed. Poliwrath gonna be completely gone, helping out Greninja quite a bit. Generally speaking, you're going to see a lot of Pokemon that are weak to counter on this tier list here, like on this video here, because yeah, counter being gone is quite an impactful change to the meta, and Greninja definitely going to enjoy this one. Greninja before as well was one of the coolest anti-meta Pokemon. I think it's going to be even more fun to play this one in the next season. The next Pokemon is going to be Diggersby. Going to be very interesting on how good this Pokemon is going to be for the next season. Currently being rank 100 for the Great League is going to be definitely changing a bit. Well, it's going to get nerfed with Mudshot. This Pokemon has a secondary fast move, which was kind of the same commonness, to be fair. I feel like even Quick Attack was a little bit more common. And looking at this Pokemon now, getting up to rank 27 is quite ridiculous without having any buffed move on its moveset here right now. It's going to be very cool. Definitely going to be one of the Pokemon that I would think is going to be way better this season, because again, Counter got nerfed, a lot of the Water-type Pokemon got nerfed, Flying-type Pokemon got nerfed, which you were not really able to hit easily before as well. Of course, with Hyper Beam now you could be able to do that. But also, if you're going to take a look at the meta, yeah, Fairy-types are kind of neutral, but then you have Clodsire, where you're going to have a great matchup against it. So I would imagine that Diggersby is going to have a lot of play Also in like the Show 6 format for sure. So Diggersby for sure a Pokemon that you really want to build for the new season. Next one is going to be Hippowdon. Hippowdon is going to be also a Pokemon that is going to benefit by the Water type nerf. Not as much as, of course, the Diggersby, because also counter doesn't really impact it too much. But what is kind of cool for it is that it has a Weather Ball Rock. Weather Ball Rock is going to be great coverage for the new season, because also Rock Slide, the most common Rock type move, is now nerfed. And so Weather Ball Rock is a very good change towards, like, it's good, very kind of unique for this Pokemon. And so, like, the win to loss ratio definitely increased quite a bit for the new season, which is really cool to see. Also, climbing up by 51 ranks is going to help this Pokemon out quite a bit. So, definitely very cool to see a Hippowdon in the top 50. Moving on to the next Pokemon. This was actually one that also people were like, suggesting for a video in the comment section. It's going to be Walrein. Walrein apparently just going to be very strong in the new season. I think it's kind of similar to Aurorus, but not as crazy good. But this Pokemon got up to rank 37 now from 84 without having a single change to its moveset. But of course, with the counter weakness of it, definitely going to help it that the counter uses are a little bit less common. A little bit annoying for it is going to be, of course, the Wing Attack update, because that would have been like Pokemon that you would really like to counter with it. Even something like a Skarmory or the Steel Ring would have been an okay matchup for you. But yeah, this is going to be definitely an interesting Pokemon to take a look at for the new season. I think Walrein is going to be back now. Very, very cool Pokemon for sure. Next one is going to be one that also Niantic kind of teasered that would be good for the next season. It's going to be Chesnaught. This is the thing as well, you're going to see an increase of grass type Pokemon, you're going to see an increase of Pokemon that would be previously weak to fighting type moves in this meta, but also Chesnaught has a little bit of a unique role for the next meta, which is very cool for it. We're going to have Superpower on this Pokemon, and as like fighting type Pokemon are going to be a little bit rare, because counter is kind of gone from it. You kind of very likely gonna see a lot more Pokemon like Chesnaught, like those Pokemon that have still fighting type coverage, that are still fighting type Pokemon, but they don't rely on the fast move of counter, which are quite rare. And so, well, the battle rating apparently decreases for the next season, which you see here as well. On the left side, the current one, and on the right side, the new one. I still think that Chesnaught is going to have a very unique place and has not to fear Skarmory. Like, Skarmory was the biggest issue for this Pokemon last season, because Skarmory completely hardwalls any kind of grass-type Pokemon. And now this season, it's going to have definitely a little more play in the meta, while on stat-wise, I maybe think it's going to be not looking too great right now, but it's most likely going to be way better for the next season, so definitely make sure to build one of it. But Frenzy Plant again is going to be a legacy move. Moving on, one Pokemon that you most likely did not expect to be on this list, but I also didn't really expect it to be on this list, but it does make quite a lot of sense, especially after the recent changes to something like Mudshot. Samurott. Samurott is going to be an interesting one, because it's a water-type Pokemon that can also do a lot of damage against grass-type Pokemon, thanks to Fury Cutter plus Mega Horn, but also as every single other water-type really got nerfed, this Pokemon kinda just stayed the same. And so, Fury Cutter, the Hydro Cannon plus Mega Horn, rank 70 is putting it to the top 100 for the upcoming Great League season for sure, something that you kind of want to run. And also, a very solid safe up in my opinion for the next season, especially again, because it can counter a lot of the weaknesses already, just with the moveset. Like, the grass type weakness would be usually the biggest weakness for both water type Pokemon, but here you're going to still have good coverage with Mega Horn as well as Fury Cutter. This is going to be the final one here for today. We're going to have Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn actually did not even get the craziest buff for the next season. You might think, oh, why is it on the list? A, because it's in the top 100, and B, because I think it's going to have a lot of potential just based on what we have as a meta, because you have a Steel type now that is also going to be able to kind of counter the Clodsire a little bit. But not only this, you're also going to have, of course, as a Steel type, the option to destroy those Fairy type Pokemon that are going to be way more common. You also just generally don't have to fear counter as much anymore with this thing, and so I think it's going to be a very good anti-meta Pokemon for the next season. There were some other Pokemon that I thought of putting into this list as well. For example, would be Blastoise, which climbed up like nearly 100 points, I think, but it's below like the top 100, and so I kind of wanted to really put in like top meta Pokemon that climbed up quite a bit that will be very good for you to build for next season. I think all of them are worth building for sure. Like, all of them definitely have a lot of play for the next season, so feel free to do that. Hopefully this video helped you out a bit, and also check out the videos on the screen. There are a lot of videos on this channel already for the next season, so anything that you kind of need to know is on this channel already. There's going to be a lot more to come as well, so stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.